viewers, greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing leadership advice. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers and trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries.
Our special guest for today's episode is Sagarika Chakraborty. Sagarika is one of the founding members at IIRIS Consulting, a global risk solutions firm headquartered in India with 15 offices globally. Sagarika spearheads the operations for the Gulf and Africa regions and also leads the vertical for global investigations and forensics. Sagarika is one of the very few professionals in India who have broken the gender divide and perception of a glass ceiling for an entire industry. A lawyer turned investigator and risk professional, she has ensured through her sharp insight and love for the profession that gender divides are never a barrier to growth.
Welcome, viewers, to yet another episode of Leadership Matters. And the leader who matters today is Sagarika. Hi, Sagarika. Welcome to this episode. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine.
Guys, you heard about Sagarika's impressive profile. So, Sagarika, how does an individual without a military, army, or security background be the most sought after person in a positive sense by Interpol, by ED, the Enforcement Directorate, by the police all over the world, and all the bad guys with white collars, they tremble when they hear the name Sagarika. How did that happen?
Firstly, they don't tremble. Okay.
Oh, they don't know what
That's
to do.
never that's never the intention of a white collar investigator or an interviewer. We never use the word interrogator. But the same point of time is that see, the beauty of the industry is that it only values the skill sets that you bring on the table. Your background does not matter. Okay. And I remember this thing when I went to B school, and one of my deans, he told me this, that once you walk into the gate, it doesn't matter from where you come from. Okay. What matters is where you want to take yourself. And that is what this industry is also all about. Yes, there are various professions and professional backgrounds that give you a kind of edge, because somewhere or the other, the mental stability, the maturity, and the agility that is needed to solve strategic situations comes with experience. But then again, there is nothing that you cannot imbibe in your corporate journey. And having been a lawyer, I think I got the best of the base, because more than anything which is strategic on ground, it is the mind that can preempt that what can land you into trouble and what cannot land you into trouble.
That's fantastic. I have 5 things in my mind right now. Number one is you spoke about the mind, so I want to go deeper into that. Let me give you all 5, and then we'll take up whichever one you want, right?
Sure.
What is that? The second thing is you're Sagarika Chakraborty. So that connects me with my Bengali origins. My mother is from Kolkata, and she went to Jodhpur University. So I'd like to know a little bit about your background and what's the Kolkata connection, what's the Bengal connection, right? Number 3, and connected with that will also be about a little bit about your family. Number 3 is about what did you do academically? How, if it is not the security background, you said you were a lawyer, so you seem to have done a lot of things. Would love to know a little more about that, please. I have 3 more, but I have 2 more, but we'll keep it for later. Let's go with any of these 3. Most of them are about your background.
Perfect. Okay, so I would have gone with the flow that you shot it, but still, as a background, yes, I'm a Bengali, and I'm very proud of that. And yes, I do have a Calcutta connection. Post-retirement, my dad did settle there full-time, and I did have a major part of my schooling also from Calcutta. But overall, my parents have always believed in giving us more of a global exposure. So I've had 7 schools, okay, all across the country, because my dad was in a transferable role. And my parents, and especially my mother, I come from a typical typical Bengali matriarchal family, my mother was very clear that career comes first, and after you're 17, you need to leave home. So that's enough of being under parents' shadows. So that's how it was always hostel life since I was 17. So I do go back to Calcutta, of course, now, and I love the city. I think when you're young, you run away from your roots. And as you hit your mid 30s, you realize that roots are where your comfort is, because you find that when you look up, you see that your culture is your tree, your banyan tree that gives you the shade.
You ran away from your roots? I mean, you ran away where? Not to Dubai?
No, no.
I
Metamorphically, of
understand.
course,
I understand.
as a teen, you rebel against everything.
Sure.
Just as a small example, as a teen, I used to refuse to touch anything that had mustard oil, and yet today my kitchen will have that as the most essential ingredient. So yeah.
You have Roshagola?
Yeah, we do. I mean, and I still claim that it is ours and not the Oreo ones, as they claim.
I love that. Do you like Rabindra Sangeet? Do you speak Bangla?
I do speak Bangla. Okay, I enjoy music, but I don't think that I have the music genes in my body.
Okay, that's nice. I only know Ami Tomake Bhalobashi. That's the only sentence I know. Huh? And then the rest
I think that pretty much summarizes the Bengali emotions. We are all about love.
beautiful. There's a beautiful saying that love, just like knowledge, grows when shared. Tell us a little bit about your learning journey. What did you learn first? How did you get into the field?
So I always wanted to be a lawyer. I'm a first generation lawyer in my family, which is filled with engineers. Okay, so I was 12 when I declared that I want to be a lawyer, and I was known for my headstrongness. So yeah, and I knew which college I wanted to apply to, so I only applied for that and a few more. But I was very lucky that I got into my dream college, which was National Law University, Jodhpur. And
Uh-huh.
okay, so 5 years into law, and I think I had my best of the times, because that is where I really metamorphosized. I realized that I love research. Okay, I love to delve into topics. I realized that I love to speak, that I can have decent oratory skills. And I think after graduation, I was working with a bank as a lawyer, and that's where I got into knowing that, okay, there's something also called as the fraud investigation unit or financial intelligence unit. Okay, and they used to come, because I was a part of the legal team, they used to come to us for legal opinions. Okay, and after I gave the
Where
legal
were you at that
opinion,
time? Where were you
I
at
was
that
with a
time?
I was working in Mumbai with a private bank.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and they used to come and they used to ask us for legal opinion. Okay, and after I gave the legal opinion, I used to really pester them that how did you solve it, how did you solve it? Okay, can I shadow you, how did you solve it? And I didn't have boundaries much, because I was quite brash. And I used to go up to the seniors, and they were like, hey, you're a lawyer, stick to your job. I'm like, yeah, but what if I want to do more? Then they said that, well, then you require one more degree. So either you require an MBA or a CA. I was like, oh, that's all that is needed? Okay,
Right.
fine. So I'll go and get my MBA. Okay. So then I did my MBA from Indian School of Business, ISB Hyderabad. And I was in a batch of 570. I was the only one who had gone there to become an investigator. So, in fact, people did not really know what is a lawyer who wants to become an investigator doing on campus, and somebody who has not signed up for placements. But I exactly knew what I was there for. Like, I started writing to one of my dream firms. I entered ISB in April. I started writing to them in August. I graduated next April, and by July, I had that offer letter in my hand. And since then, there has been no looking back. So I guess
That's fantastic.
sometimes, people say that it's good to not know what you want because you can explore. I've always been the person who exactly knows what she wants, and that has acted to my stride. Knock on the wood. Yeah.
Right, fantastic. Because most people, what they do is they shoot the arrow, and wherever the arrow hits, they go and draw the bullseye on that.
Yeah.
And
So
so, doesn't this involve a certain risk, a risk of failure? How do you deal with that? I mean, when you say brash, I take it as someone with courage. You know what you want. You're unapologetic about what you want. You go for what you want. You get what you want. Okay?
yeah.
What about like what the lesser mortals? What is the advice you have? What about fear? What about fear of failure? What's your concept of failure?
My concept of failure is to bucket it and say, is it mountable or is it, unmountable? So I guess that, yes, there have been a lot of failures from the personal as well as the professional front. I
Uh-huh.
was very young. I was around 25 when I had a head-on collision because my driver slept off on the wheel. Okay. So, and the car rammed into an incoming, he crossed the divider and it rammed into an incoming lorry. And
Oh
it
my
got
God.
me, oh, yeah. And because I was in India and there is no concept of, wearing seat belts at the back. So I suffered, and he had an airbag. Okay. So I suffered the maximum. And what happened as a result of it was that I have a damaged spine. Okay, when I entered this particular industry, and I am also, apart from being an investigator, I'm also one of India's only female executive protection agents, or what they call is the corporate bodyguard. Okay, so I knew that fitness and physical fitness has to be the paramount. Okay, so while I knew that, yes, I have always been very active, there are certain challenges which your body brings because of such an accident. Okay, and I went to the doctor and I went to my physical therapist and I said that I want to keep this behind because this is what I've always wanted to do. So with, especially with regard to my hands, okay, how do I strengthen them? They said that what you need is a reverse action. Okay, because you've had so much shock, you need something which is like a counter shock. Okay, so I said okay, and I understand. Okay, so something like a recoil. They said yes. So the next thing that I did was to sign up for shooting classes. Now I shoot a .22 to Beretta. Okay, I spend around 6 hours at the shooting range, and I think that I have reversed that particular injury in my hand just by being used to recoil. So when
Every
it
day,
comes, yeah, no, I do it on the weekends. So yeah, so it's a yeah,
six
and
hours every weekend with a .22 Beretta. Do you have one with you right now?
no, I'm a very cold-blooded person, so I don't keep a gun with me.
I'm so glad. It's very, very, very kind of you and compassionate of you for the human beings around you.
No, it's not that. It's just that I know for the fact that when it is my survival versus the other survival, okay, I value my life. I like the person that I am, and I know what value I bring to the table for humanity. So I will not bat an eyelid.
That's amazing. Uh, this is what
So
a fascinating story. What a fascinating experience. You actually cured yourself by going through the entire process of recoil
no, no,
by
no.
simply.
I didn't cure myself.
Is it
Okay, I learned to live with it in a way that it does not come within my day-to-day functions or my professional functions.
so? Is
So
it completely cured right now or not
no,
really?
but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It
matter
doesn't
because it
matter.
doesn't bother
It
you.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't bother me because I guess when you have torn a ligament, you still play your football matches, but
That's
the
right.
pain will come up, okay, once a while. So
Sure.
it's become something that's okay to live with.
So,
So that's like a failure
yeah,
that you can turn around, but there are other failures that you cannot turn around, okay?
right,
And
right.
there are other situations which you cannot then either you go heads on and you
Mm.
say we'll see it. And I remember this was one of my earliest of the cases wherein, and this was one of India's top corporate criminals who's now left the country and flew the country. And I was working, all of a sudden I get a call, and there was nobody who was supposed to know that I was working on that particular case apart from the agencies.
Right.
But somewhere or the other, the matter had leaked, and I was basically given a call to say that drop the case. Okay, and I said I refused to even acknowledge that call. And
Sure.
the next, and I got another call by saying that, oh, we know where your parents live. Okay, I refused to even acknowledge that call. But I did, after that, I did call up my father, and I was like, okay, you might be getting this a call, or I've got a call. What do I do? Okay, and here is a civilian dad of two daughters, okay, who's taught them to change tires but never had imagined that he would have to deal with a situation. He's like, okay, what do you want to do? I said, when it comes to protection of my parents, I should just drop it. I can drop it. He said, I didn't raise a daughter to take the bullet in the back. Okay, I don't want to acknowledge such a daughter. Rest, you know what to do. So I went heads on over there. But then again, there are situations where I'd ask myself that if I keep at it, am I wasting my time? And am I really attempting that is something that basically does not have a head go. So over there, if I have convinced myself that I've done enough, okay, I have applied enough, I've spent enough time, and anybody in my position with my level of expertise, okay, or higher, would have achieved the same results.
Mm.
I go back and I'm like, I don't think that I can attempt it any further.
Okay, super, super, fantastic. Ladies, women, the out of in the gender spectrum that is spoken about these days, but the original two genders are male and female. What is your take on this? They talk about the glass ceiling. They talk about breaking the glass ceiling. What's your take on that?
Uh,
Did you break any ceiling? I mean, I'm sure you broke a lot throughout your career, but did you break the ceiling?
no, I mean, the only thing I think I broke was a lot of bones growing up. Okay. So so the kind of active kid that I was, but
Yeah,
somewhere or the other, I like to have a connotation. I am a very strong believer in manifestation. Okay. And I like to attract a lot of positivity around me. So I don't like any negativity that comes with the words breaking. Okay. And why
right.
break when you
I
can
love
build?
that. I love it.
So yeah, so I would rather build myself and for the fraternity that I belong to, okay, a new universe, okay, and with a ceiling much higher rather than breaking anything. Because how do you prove that a line is short? By drawing a longer line next to it.
Sure, sure.
So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Your message for women. Why I'm talking about women is because I just heard a little while earlier that you won an award. What was the award? If you could share that with us, because you won several awards, but there's a recent award that you won, which is about power women, one of the top power women in the world, with all the fantastic things that you achieved. A little bit about that, a little bit about awards and about accomplishments, and if you have a message for ladies.
Okay, so yes, this year I was very kind. The White Page and others were very kind to bestow me a few awards. One of the awards was for the most powerful women leaders in Asia, the top 100. That's where I was nominated. Last year, I also featured in the Times 40 under 40 list. This year, I was also the Best Investigator Award in India for OSPAS, which is the highest body for awarding security awards in the world. So
Sure.
yeah, so as I said, that the industry has been very, very kind to accept me, and somewhere or the other, the industry is the shining example that gender does not matter.
Sure.
Okay, and what matters is the kind of value, the skill set, and your passion that you bring on the table. But having said that, there is also an onus, and I will leave aside humility for a while. That when we say that, when if the industry really has proven, and when it comes to me, that gender does not matter, that is because that I have never even looked at my own gender when it came to solving cases. Okay. I have never really even said that no, as a female, I cannot do that when it came to handling a situation. So, and why do that? Okay. I am a strong believer that nature gives us physiology. Gender is a societal construct,
Sure.
right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So if there is a JD that demands lifting of 100 kgs, we automatically assume that has to be for a man. Why? If there are 5 candidates, out of which 4 ladies do not know how to lift 100 kgs, and there is only one man who lifts 100 kgs, and I hire him, I'm not being biased. So we have to look at things objectively. I would say keep your gender away when you are thinking about your career. Equality is a dated concept when it comes to me, or when it comes to my mindset. I think that was a battle that our mothers chose to, fight. And that is why we are here talking, giving these interviews. For us, if we are truly their daughters, then we have to bring in gender equity, wherein it is okay to admit that, yes, I don't have this skill set. So just because I'm a female, I don't need this advantage. Okay. But at the same point of time, when you have the skill set and you know that you're being discriminated basis your gender, speak up, create a ruckus, demand your space, and own it.
I love it. I love the clarity of thought that precedes your clarity of speech, that has such a dynamic, sounding aggressive, but actually assertive tone to it. Brilliant, Sagarika.
See, that's where it is. If this was a man speaking over here, okay, he would be called actually assertive. He would be called somebody, no, not by you, but I'm talking about generally, okay. So what is for a man assertive, for a woman that is aggressive?
Sure,
Okay, that's how we have woven gender into even our conversations.
sure,
And gender equity is that, leave aside everything. It's
sure.
all same playing field.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. While what you're saying is true because there are biases that come into language, uh, you sounded absolutely assertive, but which can be misunderstood as aggressive, especially by men, but probably even by women. Huh?
Yeah,
So
sure,
you're absolutely true.
absolutely. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Huh? So gender is not even a matter of concern. It is the equity or the value that you bring to the table or the merit that you have that counts. That's a beautiful message, Sagarika. That's wonderful. So, Sagarika, what I've done is I've put together a few things right now while talking to you, and I've tried to put it as an acronym in your name, which is what I do with most of the guests who come over here. And for each one, since it's individual, it's different. This time, because of your sharpness and speed of thought and expression, I'm going to take your help while doing it. Okay, so let's go with
Okay.
S. S is strength. The biggest thing that comes out for me from everything that you've said, the underlying factor. See, at times you have been modest. At times you have been more honest during this conversation. I appreciate both. But this underlying thing that I think is a very strong message is your inner strength that is carried you throughout your experiences, and I think probably the source somewhere is in your parents. I don't know why this feeling comes, but you've taken it forward, you've built on it, you've done a lot, but it's probably been sparked off somewhere by there. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. You are where you come from. So absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Huh? The A is assertive. Huh? However, it may be perceived by whoever, it is assertive. Huh? And I love it because being assertive is neither passive nor aggressive. It's objective. It's respecting yourself and respecting others and moving ahead. You've shown that so clearly in everything you've done. G is goal oriented. Uh, while others may live by the law of accident, that they, or like a feather in the wind, they go wherever the next wind blows. No, you know where you're going, you aim, you go, you hit it. Your ISB example, and I'm sure many others. Phenomenally goal oriented. Give me another one for A, Sagarika. Help me with this one.
So I would think adaptive.
Lovely.
Okay. Because somewhere or the other, the profession has taught me that you cannot be stringent or rigid when it comes to either your the way you work professionally or personally. And the other thing which the profession has taught me is that I deal with people day in and day out. Okay. So you need to adapt to get through to them. So
Sure.
I can, okay, and I can do a complete length of an interview in chaste Hindi, okay, and you will never get to know that I even know English, okay, or I
Lovely.
can switch to a Bengali or even a Marathi while doing interactions. And that is something which I also strive to, tell youngsters that
Sure.
English is never our language. Okay,
Right.
it's a legacy left behind by people who colonized us. So if you don't know English, doesn't mean that you cannot excel. Okay, don't
Brilliant.
create that external barrier which does not exist.
Kya baat hai, kya baat. Lovely. So A is adaptive. Huh? You're writing it down somewhere, Sagarika? Huh? We have strength, we have assertive, or your mind will capture it, will put it in one small corner. Kya baat, huh? Okay, so you have strength, you have assertive, you have goal oriented, you have adaptive. R, I would say, is a risk taker, but a rational risk taker. So while you take the risks, and when you take the risk, you go all in. But obviously, your entire training and your value that you provide is in assessing risks and knowing even which ones are worth taking or not, or being preemptive. Is that correct, or you
No,
want to add
thank
something
you.
to it?
No, I think I'm humbled by the qualities and the traits that you're highlighting, and I aspire to. I don't really believe that I have achieved them, but I aspire to achieve them someday.
No,
But
no,
I
no.
would like to say,
This is Sagarika. This is nothing that I'm not praising you. I'm not finding fault. I'm just stating objectively based on the evidence. Based on, I'm being as objective as you would probably be. Huh? Because this is my profession, no, and this is product knowledge for me.
absolutely.
You're the product. I'm the product.
No, I just wanted to add to R that if
Please,
you ask me what does the R stand for, okay,
please, yeah,
for me, R stands for resiliency. Okay,
lovely,
my
lovely,
resiliency starts and ends with me. And
lovely.
that is how I lead even the team, that I
Yeah,
am going to be the biggest shield. The success is yours, the failure is all mine, because that
lovely,
means that
lovely,
I have failed to be resilient. So, and
brilliant.
that's what keeps me going, that if I get bogged down by a failure, okay, or by a setback, that means I have really not learned the ropes of the profession, because
Sure.
for risk industry resiliency is a big thing.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I meant to put the resilience in the strength, huh?
Okay.
Because the strength is two things. One is strength to begin with,
Hmm.
strength to begin anything difficult, strength to withstand it, and strength to bounce back,
Right.
huh? Which is your resilience part. Brilliant, I love it. So I, I would say it's inspirational. huh? You have your messages clear. See, life is not a destination. huh? Success is not a destination. No matter where you are, there's always scope for more. But wherever you are, there are people who are also aspiring to be somewhere along there. So you can always inspire people who are along the path. huh? So you can be humble and still be a super achiever and a great teacher. huh? And which is what you're doing. You have very clear messages. Don't break ceilings, build bridges. Uh, don't think of yourself as less than anyone else. Ask why not, and move ahead. Don't worry about gender. Focus on equity and value and merit. Uh, don't play the victim card. At the same time, put your foot down or put your foot wherever it has to be to get your way if somebody is not fair. Beautiful messages. It's all inspiration. All come from you in this particular conversation. Nothing that I've got from somewhere else. But beautiful. These are all messages which are inspirational. Your life is an inspiration, Sagarika, and you've just begun. You're just begun. I'm not saying that, I mean, there's so much more to achieve, but what a powerful way of living. Your parents must be so proud of you. K, I was thinking is knowledge. I don't know. What do you feel? What do you feel? I also feel K is a killer instinct. huh? कहीं पे
I
that
think I
strikes very
have a
well.
very different thing when it comes to K.
There's another K. Kind. It may not again. Don't tell me it's gender that I'm saying it. It may not come across that easily, especially when you're clear about what you're saying. But there's a lot of compassion and kindness that I see. You
So
too.
thank you. So I think for me, okay, I put K in a very different thing as a
Please.
philosophy that I practice day in and day out.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
and for me, it's always supporting the underdogs because I was an underdog once. Okay, so K for
Supporting
me,
the unstrong.
under underdogs.
Underdog. Got it.
Okay, and giving people second chances. So for me, K is being a kintsugi believer, the Japanese art that says that a broken piece, when reconstructed, is more valuable than the original one. And that's even true for humans. People who have witnessed the worst, when they come back, they are the sum whole of their experiences plus the person that they are. And their experiences and their ability to come out of it is the golden filling. So, how can we take that person to be not to be subpar with others when that person's value is much bigger for the experiences that they have undergone? So
Brilliant.
yes.
Absolutely brilliant. You reminded me of Pathan, huh? That's nice. Yeah,
So
but it's
yes.
way beyond that. Lovely, lovely. I love that. I love that. Please explain what is kintsugi for the people who don't know.
Okay, so kintsugi is the Japanese art of, so whenever a thing breaks, they don't, like a pottery, they don't really throw it.
Yeah.
What they do is that they reconstruct the piece, and the cracks, they fill it up with gold. So what they say is that the end product after they have reconstructed is much
It's
more
more
valuable
valuable. Yeah.
than the original one because they have again refilled it with gold. And
What a
gold
beautiful
over here
message.
is symbolic to the resilience, to the lessons that you've learned, and you've turned it around. Because a bad experience can actually make you go two ways. It can make you give up on life, or it can make you take lessons of it and turn your life around.
Superb. Absolutely superb. Huh? Great. A is articulate. That's it. Okay. See, it's one thing to be able to be clear for yourself. Uh, it's absolutely a next level leadership skill to be able to clearly communicate it to others and to articulate it in the way that uh, what you express is exactly what you mean. Most people say something and they say, "Hey, why you understood that? I didn't mean it. If you didn't mean it, why did you say what you mean?" But that's a skill that can be learned, and that's a brilliant skill that you've displayed throughout this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely talking with you, Sagarika. Uh, Absolutely enjoyable. Where is uh, fate and destiny in all of this?
Well, I don't know how to answer that question because I I believe in destiny? If I say I don't, I think I will be lying. I do believe that
Sure.
there is a superpower. As I said, that I believe in manifestation. So I do,
Manifestation.
yeah. So I believe that somewhere or the other, we are writing our destiny in the the whole way. And I go by one of my family teachings that you don't have to wait for the next life to actually bear the fruits of what you have sown. So I'm a
Sure.
complete believer in karma. So fate and destiny will take me on the path that I'm building today. Okay, whatever karma I am sowing, I will get it. If not today, tomorrow, 5 years later. So yeah, so it has to be mindful. I mean, if I'm wronging somebody knowingly, and if I'm being unfair, I am answerable to the universe for that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So to get out of the chakra, I'm not talking about Chakraborty right now. What Sagarika says is live your karma according to your dharma, according to certain principles, because otherwise it'll come back and bite you. And the good will also come back to you. So keep doing good. Sagarika, you're doing a phenomenal job in your career. You're doing great in your articulation of your philosophy and in inspiring people. What's next before we sign off?
So, what's next is, of course, continuing this journey called Iris and emerging to be a better human being, emerging to be a better professional. Because, as I say, that what keeps me going every day is that somewhere I totally believe that all of us who are in this particular profession, we're cleaning the world in our own way, one day at a time. So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Huh? And Iris is such a powerful name because it's got clarity, it's got vision, it's got insight, it's got foresight, it's got focused, and it's got peripheral vision. Yeah. So all over, when you're able to see, then you're able to help your clients to see better too. And that clarity, I think, along with the trust, is what they value. You're based in Dubai?
Yes, I'm based in Dubai.
Lovely, lovely. Look forward to seeing you there sometime.
Perfect. I look forward to hosting you soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Pleasure,
Thank
pleasure
you.
talking to
Have
you.
a
Bye
great
bye.
day. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.